Choosing the right franchise location is the absolute most important decision that you have to make. So if you're investing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, it is absolutely key that you are choosing the right business, the right location, the right industry, and the right franchise. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this video. Guys, my name is Tariq Johnson. I built a multi-million-dollar franchise business with locations in California and Florida. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to choose the right franchise for you. So let's jump in. All right, first things first, if you have any sort of interest in making money, owning a business, owning a franchise, which if you didn't, you wouldn't be watching this video, make sure you subscribe below. All of my videos are about owning a business, owning a franchise, and all the things that you need to know so you can be successful as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. And I just want to say a quick thank you so much. We recently hit over 1,500 subscribers on YouTube. And I just want to say thanks so much for all you guys that have been watching my videos and subscribing and for all of the support. I just started posting videos again a couple of months ago, and we went from pretty much from like 500, 600 to 1,500 pretty quickly. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And what would be incredibly helpful is hitting the like button below. If you hit that little like button, it helps the YouTube algorithm show this video to more and more people who need this information. And there's a lot of people out there on YouTube putting out BS videos where they're just getting you to click and they're not providing content. Guys, I promise you that in my videos, you can take this information. It is jam-packed full of value. I hate when people waste my time when I click on YouTube videos, and I assure you I will not do that with this video, and I do not do that on my channel. All right, so here's the first thing in choosing a franchise. You need to actually take a step back and decide, do you want to own a franchise or do you want to be a true small business owner? There's a huge difference, right? So drop me a comment below real quick and tell me, are you leaning towards more so you want to own a franchise or you want to own your own business? And if so, what kind of business are you leaning towards? My wife and I went through the same thought process when we opened our first franchise location. We ultimately wind up deciding to open a franchise, obviously, or I wouldn't be making this video. You can look at some of my other videos. I wind up talking about why we actually went with the franchise, but it's not the right decision for everyone. I mean, maybe owning your own business is the right decision for you personally, because owning a franchise, you're buying a system. And so you're buying a system and where your role when you buy it is to just operate that system and operate that system the best way that you can. So it's like someone's giving you a recipe and they're telling you, hey, follow this recipe and you'll be successful. Now, that doesn't mean you can't put your own flair on the recipe, but if you're the type of person where you're like, I want to create my own recipe, I want to figure out the recipe and I want to make it completely my own thing, then owning a franchise is not for you. So that's the first thing you have to determine and make sure that you're good with is following someone else's system and plan. The next thing is money. So this is so key. This is one of the most important decisions when thinking about owning a franchise and choosing the right franchise. So number one is you've got to find a franchise that fits your budget and is within your financial means. That doesn't mean that you don't get a loan to start up your business. My wife and I did. We used a home equity line of credit. Again, I'll tell you more about that later on. But you need to make sure that when you open your business, you still have a nice buffer in capital for your business in case it takes some time to get up and going. You don't want to be in a situation where you wind up stretching yourself too far financially and all of a sudden you wind up having to close the business or make really desperate situations because you didn't plan properly and you overextended yourself. The second part about money, which is really important, so make sure you're sticking with me here, is you need to determine how much money you need to make with the franchise. So how much money do you need to make, and then how much money do you want to make? As an example, I have a guy that I'm coaching right now. He works for the IRS. He wants to leave his job and he's making somewhere around $70,000, $80,000 a year. So he has a couple other streams of income. So we went through this. I'm like, how much do you want to make owning your franchise? How much do you need to make? Like, how much do you need to pay the bills and keep the same quality of life? He's like, bare bones, I need to be making 50 grand, but I'd really like to be replacing my income in that $70,000, $80,000 range. Great. Now choosing a franchise becomes very easy because now we look at every franchise opportunity through the lens of, can this business make me $50,000 bottom line in profit that I pay to myself? And then can it get me to where my target of $70,000 or $80,000 is with this business? Now here's the thing. Here's what's really critical and important. Don't make this mistake, because a lot of people that are looking at franchising and wind up owning a franchise make this mistake. You need to find a franchise where, as an average performer, you can hit your income target. So what I mean by that is, don't choose a franchise where the top locations wind up making a profit of $70,000 or $80,000, because you can't count on yourself being a top location. Look, I'm as ambitious as they come. I want to be the best at everything that they do. I want to win. I want to be incredibly successful. I want my locations to be the top locations. The reality is that there's a law of numbers with franchises, and you want to plan for your location to be an average performing store. So if the average locations with the franchise are producing $75,000 to $80,000 in profit, then great. Then you know if an average location does that, it'll be easy to make $50,000, which is what you need. It'll be normal and average to make the $75,000, $80,000, which is what you want. And then if you really crush it and really operate your business at a high level and are one of the top performing stores, then you can exceed what it is that you want. So do you see what we did there? We want to make sure that we're putting ourselves in the best position to succeed financially as we can. And this is exactly what I do with the franchise clients that I coach and consult with when I'm helping them make the transition in order to find a franchise that makes sense. Sometimes that means buying an existing franchise location that's already making money, and sometimes that's opening up a new franchise location. Just depends on the situation, depends on the person, but that's exactly one of the things that I work with my clients on. And by the way, real quick, if you want to work with me to help you find a franchise location or make that transition from your job to owning a franchise, then I'll leave a link below where you can apply to work with me. Oh, so real quick, so when my wife and I opened our first location, this was one of the mistakes we made. We didn't do any of that planning. I mean, we had done a lot of research, but I'm sharing this video with you from all of the mistakes I made and the process that I wish I would have gone through. We kind of rolled the dice a little bit. We were doing research, but we didn't do research in a really thorough way, and that's why I feel so excited about helping clients now, because I'm like, do not make the same mistake that I did. I mean, we rolled the dice and it worked, but you don't want to roll the dice when it comes to either making a transition out of your job and starting to own a business, and when you're investing tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. So in our case, our business took $300,000 to open. So we took out a $300,000 home equity line of credit. And here was the beautiful thing, is that we got our business profitable our second month in business. Within 2 months, we got our business profitable, doing over $30,000 in sales. And I wind up creating a blueprint and documenting it so you can use it. It's completely free. It's called my 7-step blueprint to business profits in 60 days. I'll leave a link below so you can get this blueprint. It's 23 pages long, and it will show you exactly how to build a profitable franchise business, or even if it's just your traditional business. It's a great guide, or you can just go to my website, tariqjohnson.com. Again, I'll leave the link below. But this guide is golden. I've already had over 500 or 600 people that have downloaded the guide and gotten amazing feedback from it. So make sure you get it. All right, here's the next thing to cover. What is a no? And then what type of lifestyle do you want to live? So in thinking about owning a franchise, you got to think, what do I definitely do not want to do? Like, I have some people that reach out to me and they're like, you know what, Tariq, I definitely don't want to be in the food business. I don't want to own a food franchise. So it's super easy because it eliminates a lot of options. And sometimes, especially when someone's trying to figure out what it is that they want, what I find in that, having worked with so many clients and having coached them and consulted with them, that when they're looking for a business, is start with what you don't want. And when you start eliminating some of the options that you don't want, it becomes actually easier to narrow in on what you do want. So if you're like, yep, I don't want to deal with anything that has to do with grease or food. I don't want to deal with any business where I'm hiring teenagers or working with young kids. I don't want to be in any business that is open on the weekends, because weekends are sacred to me. That's my family time. That's my time to spend at church, or whatever it is for you. You have to determine what it is that you want to stay away from. You know, as an example, when we owned our franchise location, a juice bar, it's open, 7 days a week. We'd only be closed really for a couple of holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, but there were plenty of times where in the weekends I was in the store, and it affects your quality of life. So make sure you determine what is a definite no for you and how does that impact your lifestyle. And if you're still with me so far, make sure you stick around to the end, because these are some of the really important parts about how to choose a franchise. But at the end, I'm going to tell you about what questions that you have to ask the franchise in order to make sure that you're choosing the best franchise company for you. So make sure you stick around to the end when I tell you how to make sure to ask the right questions to the franchise company. All right, so the next one is I want you to go ahead and take out a pen and a piece of paper real quick, or take out your phone and just leave a quick note on your phone and pause the video if you need to go and do that. But here's what you need to do. What's your skill set? You need to identify what your skill set is and what you're good at. So as an example, write down what are the 3 things that you feel like you are really good at, and then what are the 3 things that you really like to do. So for me, as an example, I like to communicate, I like to train, so I like to coach and train people and educate, right? That's another way to say it. And then I like to figure out how things work and how to make them work more efficiently and more effectively. So I love operations. I know in this video it might seem like I'm an extrovert and then I've got this like outgoing personality. I'm an introvert at heart. I like operations. I like to sit down and go, okay, this is how something works and this is how I want to make it better. So for you, what's your personality style? What's your skill set? What are you good at? You want to make sure that you're aligning your skill set, what you're naturally good at, with your business. Because owning a franchise, it's already hard enough. Again, you want to put yourself in the best position to succeed as you can, which is making sure that you're picking a franchise and choosing a franchise that is most alignment with your existing skill sets. Now, it's not a deal breaker if you choose a franchise that's not in the highest alignment with your skill sets, because you can always hire someone that has that skill set. So it's not a deal breaker. You just need to make sure you have that plan in place. Again, this is one of the things that I work through with some of the clients that I work with when choosing a franchise and then going in and helping them set the business up for the most success and figure out a hiring plan and filling in the gaps, is that sometimes the best leaders and best business owners, all they do is they just hire people that have the skill sets that they need. But overall, you want to make sure you understand what those skill sets are that you have, that you're lacking, and how that works with the business that you're selecting. Okay, so now that you've assessed yourself individually on how to choose the right franchise, the next thing that you have to do is you have to figure out, once you've narrowed all those things down, then you're gonna get a short list of franchise companies or industries, and then you have to make sure you ask them the right questions. So I made another video that is in depth about exactly what questions to ask franchisors, what questions to look for in the FDD, which is the franchise disclosure document, and then what questions to ask franchisees, who are the people that own franchise locations. So I'm gonna leave a little pop-up here to go watch that video. I'm gonna leave another link in the description below so you can go check out that video. But the video is titled "The Top Questions to Ask a Franchisor." This video is so key. You need to make sure that when you're choosing a franchise location that you're going through this process that I set out here. There are a lot of people that kind of kick the tires with owning a franchise, and here's the reason why. It's because they don't have a specific process that they're going through in order to select a franchise. And when you go through this process that I set out in this video in terms of making sure that, one, should you be a franchise owner or small business owner, figuring out the money part of the equation, how much can you afford, how much do you need to make, and then also figuring out what's a no, how does it impact your lifestyle, and then matching that up with your skill sets, and then once you've narrowed it down, figuring out what questions to ask, you're gonna be really on track with making sure you choose the right franchise location. You're gonna really hone it in. And again, if you want my help in doing that, then I'll leave the link below, or you can go to my website and click the little button up top which says Work with Tariq. You can apply to work with me. I don't work with everyone. I only work with people that are the right fit and that really make sense, and that the people that are really motivated to make a change. But I really hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, and you made it all the way to the end, that is totally amazing. And I honor you for sticking it through, because there are so many people out there right now that are great starters and they're not good finishers. And if you want to be a successful business owner and entrepreneur, you've got to not only be able to be good at starting, you've got to be able to be good at seeing things through, following through, and finishing. And just little things like this, because how you do everything is how you do anything. Just being able to stick through a video that's an educational topic that will help you succeed is a really great sign that you have what it takes to be a successful business owner. And so if you made it this far, I'd love if you hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps me out. I put a lot of time and energy into these videos. Also, make sure you subscribe below. Drop me a comment. Tell me, are you leaning towards owning a franchise? Are you leaning towards owning your own business? And then what kind of business are you leaning towards? And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.